Hello everybody, this is Julia again. I had to create yet another project with products from Whimsy Stamps. I had been a guest designer for them in July, and they sent me a die that I didn't use but that I picked out, and of course I had to use it. So here's the die, and you can see it's a very like party element die, balloons and stars and everything. And I am using an array of distressings to create a rainbow blend. And what I'm doing is I'm tapping off the blender on a piece of scrap paper before bringing it to my piece of, I'm using watercolor paper here, I think, because it blends very nicely. By tapping it off, Laura Basson style, as I like to say it, you create a very soft blend, so you don't have like a huge smudge of ink that you then cannot blend out. So it takes maybe a little bit longer, but you're able to control your blends quite nicely. And my goal was to create a very colorful bottom, but blend out to white on top, because that's how I want my die cut to look as well. I want the bottom very colorful and the top to go to white. So this is how it looked like, and I was quite happy how this turned out. And then I'm just arranging the die on here, and I'm trying to be very careful because I can't see through it, but I want to make sure that the top of the balloons and the stars here will be white and only the bottom will be colorful. So I'm actually being a little bit too cautious, and you will see that once I take this very intricate die out, it's not quite as intense as I wanted it to be. So what did I do? I just went back because I had you can see me doing this here, like I'm looking at it against white paper and I'm like, this is not intense enough. This is not what I was going for. So what to do? I'm just grabbing the ink again and my blending tool again, and I'm going through this again. And you can see I'm using a piece of paper to hold the die cut because I had some ink on my finger and I didn't want to smear that into the white parts. And this is so much better. Like the intensity now is so much better. So you can see there's always a reason to go back and just do it again. I die cut the strip again from a white panel, because I will be fitting this on top of my card base and on the bottom of this strip. I added some pattern paper on the card base, so I will be laying this on top like this. And then I put some double-sided adhesive on the back here. Now I'm fitting this die cut into place, and thanks to the adhesive, it sticks right there, so I don't have to fiddle with putting adhesive on this very intricate die cut. And then it took me a while, and then I'm fitting in all these tiny little pieces because I wanted to make sure that the bottom part where all these swirly elements are, that's white. I didn't want the black pattern paper to show through there. And once that was done, I used some foam adhesive on the back, and then I accidentally adhered it crooked. Yes, that happens, and I couldn't really get it off without destroying the card. So I was a little bit angry, and then I was a little bit frustrated, and then I took the trimmer and I trimmed it down, because what else is a girl to do, right? You gotta trim it down. Nobody's going to measure the card to see if it's 5.5 by 4.25. So out the trimmer came and I trimmed. It was quite some work. But I trimmed it, and then it was better. Not perfect, but much better. For the sentiment, I picked a stamp by Paper Smooches that says happy birthday, because that has to be a birthday card. I mean, seriously, if that's not a birthday card, I don't know. So using my Misty here to stamp it, it didn't stamp perfectly the first time. So I just grabbed my ink pad again, inked up the stamp again, and stamped it into place. You do not need a Misty. Whenever you see somebody use a Misty, you don't need a Misty. It just makes stamping quite easy sometimes, especially in situations like this when it didn't stamp perfectly and you need to double or triple stamp without messing up the rest of the card. So that's the only reason why I'm using it, because it just makes things easier. Then I grabbed my white gel pen and I added some faux highlights into the upper right portions of this shape. Because that it indicates the light comes from the upper right, and that is where the brightest highlight is. I also used generous amounts, I think it's either Wink of Stella or Perfect Pearls Mist on this, and you can see the amazing glitter effect here. When you see it in real life, it's just fantastic. Seriously, I'm always, you can add glitter to anything. It just spices up every project. And here, especially on the darker parts, you can see the white gel pen standing out really well. And I elongated the H and the Y, just to make the sentiment a little like more solid on this card. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye bye.